going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck here again. Okay, we've got some breaking news. As you all can see in the title, Brigitte Macron will be presenting scientific evidence to the court to prove that she's a woman and that she was born a woman and she will die a woman. Because obviously, this is what needs to be done. First, let me be the first to say, Lady Luck Club, told you also. For those who wanted to be so hesitant and kept talking about her 8-part series, that means nothing to science because it doesn't. I know I was the first to say that Candace asking for blood was not going to turn out the way she wanted it. 1, 2, court doesn't have to force the First Lady of France to give DNA to try to prove or disprove anything Candace Owens has ever said about her gender. And, all the other evidence that was sent to Candace, she has completely ignored or, tried to explain away with some other conspiracy theory. That this is why you can't go too far down that rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, because you get lost in translation and then somehow the facts become, obsolete. And that's not the type of world we live in. We don't live in a world where everything is fictitious. And if you truly believe that, you might need to get some help. At some point, we have to accept facts to be facts. Laws are laws. And it is what it is. That your opinion stay your opinion. But don't purport your opinion to be a fact. So, Candace Owens is about to find out the hard way. And we are here for it. So make sure you guys please hit the like button and subscribe to the Lady Luck Club. We are growing, and I appreciate all of you guys for supporting me here in the LLC. I want to get to it. I have a couple video clips and a summary of the motion to dismiss brief that Candace Owens filed, because remember, she went on Tucker Carlson and said, I'm not seeking a dismissal. And it turned around and did just that. So we have the news that we're going to check out. And then I have a couple other videos just to kind of show you guys that Candace was never taking this seriously. And I don't know what, even before, her friend, was assassinated. This was a serious matter either way, because you're talking about it being in the court of law. And now I guess her defense is more so along the lines of, this court doesn't have jurisdiction. But Candace has filed 2 other lawsuits in a court in the state of Delaware previously. And now all of a sudden there's a jurisdiction issue. No. So I don't believe that and considering that the same judge she has now is the same judge she had with a previous case in the state of Delaware, I highly doubt they grant the motion to dismiss. I highly doubt it. So we have, what's this, NBC that we're going to check out. It's only a 2-minute video, so let's get to it. And you guys let me know what you think in the comments section. And no, I'm not watching her 8-part series because it has nothing to do with irrefutable evidence that is considered to be science for this particular case. All right, let's go.
So the First Lady of France is doing something that may sound surprising. She and her attorneys are planning to try to prove that she is a woman. Stay with us here. Brigitte Macron, wife of the French president, Emmanuel Macron, now says she's going to present scientific and photo evidence in court to prove her sex. This is part of the couple's court case here in the U.S. as they're suing the woman on the right side of your screen, conservative commentator Candace Owens, for saying on her platforms, Macron was born male.
Brigitte Macron was actually born Jean-Michel Trogneux. That is the person that you are seeing in this photo here on the far left. I would stake my entire professional career on the fact that Brigitte Macron, the current First Lady of...
I hope y'all heard that. On the fact. That wasn't a fact, because I've said this in 2 other videos that I've done covering this topic. The only evidence, irrefutable evidence that you need to prove gender is science. It will be blood tests, blood work, DNA. That's it. Not her opinion or thought in an 8-part series. science. And here we are. So maybe the first lady of France heard my video, because she doesn't have to do this, but she's doing it because this is affecting her and her children that Candace Owens tried to take away from her by robbing her motherhood. And of course she has grandchildren. So the damage is far reaching here. It's not just at Brigitte Macron. It's extending beyond that. And you tried to take away her motherhood. You don't do that, Candace. You got 4 kids. All right, let's go back to this.
I would stake my entire professional career on the fact that Brigitte Macron, the current First Lady of France, was born a man.
So Macron is trying to shut down these claims and win the case. Owens is trying to get the whole thing thrown out. Let me bring in Yasmin Vasugi in here.
Not gonna work.
This is a defamation case here from the First Lady of France here. Help us understand any of the context or even any precedent on this.
First of all, they want to set the record straight. The attorney has said this is incredibly upsetting to both President Macron as well as his wife, Brigitte Macron. Right. They say it's a distraction as well to the president and his family. This is an opportunity for them to prove to kind of shut down all of the rumors and the talk of what you heard from Candace Owen there, to essentially prove that she is in fact a woman. As you mentioned, they're going to use scientific and physical evidence, if in fact this goes to trial, to make sure everybody understands that is in fact the truth. And I will say, this is actually the second defamation case on this, because there was a defamation case that happened in France. This actually initiated with some French bloggers, in which the Macrons actually won that case, but it was subsequently overturned in an appeal, not because of the truth, but because of freedom of expression. I will say Candace Owens, for her part, has filed a motion for dismissal. And the attorneys from the Macron family have said, and I quote, "Unlike Ms. Owens, the Macrons welcome the discovery process and look forward to holding her to account for the reckless falsehood she continues to knowingly promote." And let me just say, Hal, as you kind of played some of those videos of Candace Owens, for folks to understand, I mean, I know she has kind of become this household name, but that is because of the huge following that she in fact has online. 5 million subscribers on YouTube, 7 million followers on X. So that kind of proves the point of what Brigitte Macron, the First Lady of France, and President Macron are saying, in which they say, we want to set the record straight to make sure everybody understands the truth in this situation.
We thank you for watching. And
I mean, beyond that, it's just absurd that they feel like they have to do this, because they don't. Legally, they would not have to present scientific evidence. The judge would never order, I don't care if it's the First Lady of France or the First Lady of the state of Virginia, to do a blood test in a civil proceeding regarding defamation. But the defamatory statement is in the fact that she tried to purport her opinion to be a fact, and it wasn't. It was her opinion. She should have left it there, but she didn't do that. And you're talking about trying to purport something to be a fact on something that only science can debunk. And that's exactly what the Macrons are going to do. Now they're going to say, you know what, shut this down. It's one thing to have your opinion. It's another thing to say that it's a fact, and then to go so far as to say, I don't think she gave birth 3 times. I don't think those are her children. Now you're trying to discredit someone's motherhood. Why should she have to, over, 70 years she's existed on Earth? Why should Brigitte Macron have to defend her motherhood? This got out of hand, and pride comes before the fall, Candace. You could have easily retracted this and corrected the record. But she didn't want to do that. She wanted to stake her whole career on it. So, there it is. And this is a separate video here. It's a YouTube short from Daily Mail. Basically kind of, reiterating that she's going to be providing evidence, scientific evidence, to prove that she was born a woman, gave birth 3 times, and will die a woman. And, all of the other rhetoric that came with that, the accusation of her being somehow Emmanuel Macron's brother, insinuating that he's, homosexual, all this stuff that she said, all of that in its totality is what makes it so damaging. And you can't forget about how her children feel and her grandchildren feel about this. because they're not numb to what's going on social media. This made international news. So it's not like you can ignore it forever. So at some point, her children, grandchildren would have been, definitely affected. And they have been. And it's just like, girl, if you don't go somewhere, kick rocks. Candace, like, all the time she could talk about anything where she could produce actual facts to prove it. This is what she want to run wild with and do so recklessly. And when they tried to present evidence to her, she basically declined everything. She might take this, she might go out on her platform and call the scientific evidence to be fake and forged, and it's not real samples. And I mean, she's gonna keep going with it unless she decides, okay, I think we've hit the plateau here. There's no much more higher we can go with this, and I have to accept that this is the truth. It just to maintain whatever little integrity that she could have in this situation. If not, then this is going to really put a dent in her credibility. And on top of that, Candace made money with all of this rhetoric, selling T-shirts and all this stuff on her merch shop. She made money with this. So the fact that you keep going on and on about it, right now she has, her personal friend has been assassinated on national television. That's been the only reason why she has not talked about what's going on with this case and this lawsuit. It's still ongoing. So the judge will empathize, but they're not going to just grant her the motion to dismiss because of that. If the judge denies it, she's still going to have to go through this legal proceeding. And this is not her first time facing the same judge in a court in the state of Delaware. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander, Candace. So I don't know if it's any sound with this, but oh, there we go.
Here it is. Lean in. Come here. Come on, Brigitte. Elysee Palace. All the.
So here's Candace. She did a YouTube short. This is on her channel. The real reason I exposed Brigitte Macron. This is to go to show how serious she was taking this matter. Okay? Brace yourselves. It's about to get funny.
Gates, and know you're watching. Listen, there is, you are correct, a very clear and convincing reason that I have committed myself to the story. And it is something that you probably in France are not aware of. You're right. Something else was motivating this outside of France. A person. You are correct. And that person is Latarian Milton.
Latarian Milton is not your typical 7-year-old. Few his
No, he's
age have
not.
ever driven an SUV up and down several busy streets. It all started at his mother's
Yeah,
townhouse.
she trying not to
Latarian
laugh.
says
Look
he
at
took
her.
the car keys and hopped into his grandmother's Dodge Durango.
Yeah, Candace is wrong for this shit. Yeah. She trying her best not to laugh. This is how serious she was taking this matter. Yeah, okay.
When I came through the back door, I looked on the counter, my keys were gone.
I took my grandma car because I got mad at my
How
mom.
you gonna blame
and
this on
then
this
I saw
baby?
him and had my friend come in, and he smokes with cigarettes.
He started the vehicle and put it into gear.
I yanked the thing.
And off they
Can't
went.
even
Two
describe what it
7-year-olds
is.
alone on the road. Latarian drove several miles through Lake Park and Palm Beach Gardens.
We got the one call that I told you
fact
about
that
of
he
the
could
driver
drive
in the
and not
vehicle who
kill
was too
someone.
short to be able to see over the steering wheel.
Along the way, he ran over 2 mailboxes, hit 2 parked
Oh, he
cars
did
in a
hit something.
Costco parking lot,
Oh
and
my
struck 2
God.
moving cars near Walmart.
I want to do it because it's fun. It's fun to do bad things. Drive into a car.
But did you know that you could perhaps kill somebody?
Yes, but I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
It's
Girl.
right there at the end.
Oh my
Brigitte.
God.
Right there. It is a very clear and convincing reason why I got involved in this case. It's fun to do bad things, right? And when you
Candace.
said nobody could talk about this and you started going after journalists, I was like, I don't know. It's fun to do bad things.
Did you understand the extent of what this bad meant? you went so far as to say that she did not have 3 children. Oh my God, girl.
I don't want to do hood rat stuff with my friends in the basement. That's what
Candace.
we're doing here. We are doing hood rat stuff with our friends
No,
in the
you're
basement.
not.
And you can put me under oath. I will testify. No one else was involved but this icon, Latarian Milton, who told us this was okay. They made this okay in America. Just let bad take over you and to do the bad stuff. So that's what happened here. And I hope that clarifies things
Oh my
and that you
God.
can spend less money to get to the bottom of this. I just want to help you with that.
I went and drove and pick up my friend, and he smokes with cigarettes.
No. Okay, Candace, that proved nothing. This is crazy. This is how serious she took this. That's it. You know, it's like you making a mockery of it. And what you really did was piss these people off. You pissed these people off, Candace. And now the bill has come due. So I just want to give you guys a reminder of the case summary itself. I've gone over, I pulled up the brief to support the motion to dismiss. I pulled up the court docket. That video will be attached at the end. Make sure you guys go check that out and give it a thumbs up and a like so it can get up there in that algorithm, because I presented some fantastic information in that video. So make sure y'all check that out. But in the meantime, here is just a summary that I pulled off of just a Google search regarding the whole, the case overall. So you guys see here, Candace Owens has filed the motion to dismiss. Let me zoom in on this so you guys can see this up close. And this is something you can just do a summarizer on the actual brief itself. So this kind of just covers the motion to dismiss summarized. Candace Owens has filed a motion to dismiss the defamation lawsuit brought against her by French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte Macron. The motion was filed in the Delaware Superior Court in September 25 and argues the court lacks jurisdiction over the case. Key arguments from the motion to dismiss. The brief filed in support of Owens' motion presents several core arguments. First is the lack of jurisdiction. Owens' legal team claims that the Delaware court lacks personal jurisdiction. Owens lives and records her podcast in Tennessee, and neither she nor the Macrons have a direct connection to Delaware. While some of Owens' business entities are registered in Delaware, which is the connection. That is the connection. And this is not the first case that involved Candace as a party, whether she was the plaintiff or the defendant. This is not the first case that has been heard in a Delaware court. She literally has the same judge that she had for a previous lawsuit that she lost because she failed to state a claim. So that speaks volumes. You can't say you've never heard a case regarding Candace Owens in a court in the state of Delaware. Actually, there are two others, but the most recent one, she had the same judge. That's a fact. That's information I pulled up previously. So it makes no sense for them to put this in their motion to dismiss while they disregard the previous cases that have been heard in Delaware courts. So they already said here and confirmed that she has business entities registered in Delaware. Her legal team argues that the Macron's claims do not involve the business of those entities. It doesn't have to involve the business for you to say we're going to this court for the jurisdiction because the businesses are simply registered there, just as much as the other two lawsuits that were heard in the state of Delaware. So they're also arguing, second point here, libel tourism. The motion describes the lawsuit as a case of libel tourism, suggesting that the Macron's decision to file in the U.S. was a strategic move to bypass France's more stringent defamation laws. French law has a 3-month statute of limitations for defamation claims, which Owens alleges has expired. And then the last major point, forum nonconvenience. Owens' team argues that the case should be dismissed under the doctrine of forum nonconvenience, which allows a court to dismiss a case if another, more appropriate forum exists. The motion states that the controversy is primarily related to France and all relevant parties, witnesses, and evidence are located outside of Delaware. But your client said it was a fact and she did an 8-part series. So you can only argue that for so much. And the judge is going to say the same thing. She did an 8-part series purporting what she did to be a fact, and that was done under her in the basement of her home. Candace Owens LLC falls under that George Tom Inc. LLC, which is registered in Delaware. So what does that say about the 8-part series that she said was a fact? That, of course, that's not in France. So the context of the lawsuit, original lawsuit, the Macrons filed their 22-count defamation lawsuit in July 2025 after Owens repeatedly spread conspiracy theories, including the false claim that Brigitte Macron was born male. Prior disputes, Owens has continued to double down on the claims even after requests for a retraction. The lawsuit was filed after previous legal actions on the same subject in France against other individuals resulted in a mixed outcome. So they won in the lower court, and then the superior court in France overturned the ruling because the journalists basically stated that they made a mistake in good faith, as far as trying to purport their theory of Brigitte Macron being a man as a fact. It had nothing to do with confirming or denying the gender itself. It was a matter of the defamation. Once they acknowledged that this was not a fact, this was our opinion, and we made that, mistake in error, but we were reporting on this in good faith. Then the court saw that the factor needed to say that it was defamatory no longer applied, and it was therefore protected free speech. But Candace is not doing that. And I've said 3 or 4 videos. Candace, all you have to say is you made a mistake in good faith. I mean, good grief. Well, child, yeah, it might be too late. Who knows? Because, seeing the video on her talking about a little boy driving a car and talking about you want to do bad things, that's not going to help, girl. Access to the document, a full brief in support of Owens' motion to dismiss was published by law.com on September 15, 2025. It can be found via links from legal news sites, including ALM Media. So here are the links here. And it's giving the disclaimer, AI responses may include mistakes, but here are some links here. And if you guys want, I can make sure that these links are in the description of the video here. But that is all I have for this one. This is something else. And I just, Candace is going to have to do something. If not, that scientific evidence is going to be the slam dunk that she's been asking for, because, remember when she said she needed the blood of the first lady? I'll send my doctors. We can draw a little blood. We can be done with this real quick. Okay. Your wish is your command. They're going to bring scientific evidence. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. That's all I have for this video here. And as more updates come regarding the lawsuit, I will continue to report on it. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe to the Lady Luck Club. And let me know what you think in the comment section. This scientific evidence is going to prove one way or the other. Is Candace going to accept the science? I highly doubt it, because she hasn't accepted anything else. But at the end of the day, for the sake of moving forward, she might have to. And hopefully her attorney tells her to do that. Because at some point this has to come to an end. And also, you guys, make sure you check the description of the video for Dr. Squatch products. We have a partnership here in the Lady Luck Club with Dr. Squatch. So get you some soap and deodorant and toiletries and all those things for the young men in your family and your lives to have them smell good, feel fresh and clean. Get some Dr. Squatch products and order the products through the products that are tagged in the description of the video. I do receive a commission on the sales, and it goes back to the expenses of the channel. Thank you all so much. And until the next one, Lady Luck Club out.